If my people Bible reading 137, the book of Ezekiel, and we just finished the ninth scroll, and it ends at the end of chapter 39, but I didn't get the last sentence finished, so we're going to finish it there. It's chapter 39, verse 28, or 27, let's do that. Repeat it. When I have brought them back from the nations and have gathered them from the countries of their enemies, I will show myself holy through them in the sight of many nations. Now, the United States, for a couple hundred years, from the 17th century until now, has not been our enemy. We have had Democrats who are real, believe in democracy. Democrats believe in democracy. We don't have that now. We have left-wing socialist communists. That's what we have. And we have Republicans. Republican meaning people of law, people who follow law. Republic, a nation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the law, to the republic for which it stands, right? Okay, we've said that since 1956 when Eisenhower had it put in there. Okay. We don't have that. Since 1972, during the presidential election, was it McGovern and Nixon? The Democratic Party left the Democratic Party and they started going south the wrong way. Bill Cloud wouldn't like that, but okay, they went north. They kind of left the Democratic Party. They went to the left. The Republicans started moving towards the Democratic behavior. So we have Republicans who are now Democrats. That's who they are. So before 1972, everything before that for 100 years, that's who you are. Understand? And now we have the socialists beyond that, extreme copying as fast as throw the world away, destroy everything, hateful, demonized people. So what did Yahweh just say here? I'm going to take you out of the countries that hate you, and we hate them. That's what it's coming down to. You're going to hate living in England and all the English-speaking countries. You're going to not like living in Canada and the United States anymore. And even if you're stinking rich, you're going to be stinking rich because the great majority of the people who have stinking rich amount of money in the billions and so forth have the majority of all the money. They've taken it over. And I'm not just condemning them because if you take everything away from those people, you tax them to death, and you start all over and everybody gets $10,000 apiece every year, and you give them 100 years later, then 99% of the people will have nothing and 1% will have it all. That's the nature of the beast. Okay. So last verse. Verse 28, then they will know that I am Yahweh their Elohim, for though I sent them into exile among the nations, plural, I will, and the key word is I will, gather them to their own land, not leaving anything behind. Now, Yeshua said that. He has sheep, and he will not lose a single one. There's the promise. Now, that promise goes all the way back to Genesis 14:16, Abraham, about look out there, the stars, Abraham, all that is your peoples. Numerous as the stars. Okay. Now, the next chapter is 40. Now, in Ezekiel, that is scroll number 11. So we go back, and we don't read 40. We go back to chapter 32, because it says this. 32, verse 1. In the 12th year, in the 12th month of the first day, the word of Yahweh came to me. Now, this is scroll 10. How do I know that? Because you just read it. It tells you the year and the month and the day. This is one of the few Bibles, books that tells you exactly when it was done and how to read the scrolls of the 13. So now we're in the 10th one. And what we're getting out of that is that there's you take up a lament concerning the Pharaoh king of Egypt, and you say to him, you are like a lion among the nations. You are a monster in the seas, thrashing in your streams, churning the water with your feet in your muddy streams. And Yahweh says, with a great throng of people, I will cast my net over you, and they will haul you up in my net. There's going to be a lot of house cleaning going on in the end days. There's going to be a lot of strife, and everyone is going to go through some side of correction and severe correction. No one is going to escape any correction. No one. Not one. You just have a choice. Do you want to be corrected, or do you want to wait to the very end and just get what you just deserve? So everyone has a choice. There's no one can sit there and blame anyone on all their problems. That is chapter 10. Now, right after that, we had finished it. That was scroll 8, and that was in starting with verse 17. So can you understand how that flows? So once again, Ezekiel started with this. Okay, Israel, the people who are scattered, they're going to be corrected. I'm going to do it. 2, Judah, people living in Jerusalem, you're going to lose everything. You're going to Babylon. You're going to be corrected. 3, Babylon, who's done this to you, they're going to be corrected and judged. There's a difference here. I just used the word judged. Okay, that's happened. So now there's Egypt. Egypt representing Egypt and the entire Western world. Now in a timeline, they come along much later on because we are the Western world. And that goes all the way from Greece, English-speaking countries, all the way to the United States. You're going to be corrected, and you're going to be judged. How are you going to be judged? You're going to be judged through Babylon. The Babylonian people are going to crush you, and it uses it in such words that, yes, Babylon did attack. There was a battle there called Carchemish, and it was not good. But this is not what Ezekiel's talking about. Once again, Ezekiel wrote all 13 scrolls. They were given to the people in Babylon to bring back with them through Nehemiah to build that temple. Nehemiah disobeyed and didn't follow any of the instructions. So the book of Ezekiel is prophetic. It is about that time, but it's about now. So, in historical purposes, where we are right now in a timeline, we are in the correction of the Babylonians, the people in the Near East. That's Persia, Medo-Persia, that's Iraq, that's Afghanistan. Are you catching the countries I'm telling you? It says here, and Yahweh's speaking, not Satan. Yahweh's saying this. He's going to correct and hurt and harm even in your own gates in Egypt. Now that didn't happen at the Battle of Carchemish, so that means it's going to happen. Where are the Western cities in the Western countries today that he's talking about? Plain as day, isn't it? Then the next part, it says, and after I do that, I'm going after the pharaohs. Pharaohs are super politically kings and priests. The leadership in the religious area and in the governmental areas who combine together, and they are to be corrected and judged. So they're going to be judged. That means, and we just finished in the 10th scroll. That's why when you read Ezekiel, following the instructions that I've given you that follow the scrolls when they were written, now it makes perfect sense. It tells a story now. If you read it like any book, any Bible you get off the bookshelf, it sounds confusing because it goes chapter 1, 2, 5, 7, 9, 8, 7. It bounces all over the place. Every Bible since the 330 AD has been prepared in that order. In these last days, the prophecy from Yahweh is that there will be a increase in learning in the last days. That could be anything, but that also means this. How many Bibles have been put together where the scrolls are actually put in order that Ezekiel wrote them? Well, you're hearing one of them now, and I'm sure there's a lot more out there. But you've got to look for something like that. It just doesn't come bouncing to your door and left on your doorstep. So there it is. So we'll cease with this. We'll want you to continue on. You need to move to scroll 11. And where's scroll 11? Chapter 40, verse 1. Okay. See you then.